lined up today for us for a conversation, and it's been a busy news weekend, I must be honest. We woke up, we weren't really sleeping, I must be honest, but news of a coup in Benin and the subsequent attempt by ECOWAS to foil the insurrection, if we can call it that, or the military takeover, has become the subject of quite the discussion over the last few hours. But what really is the problem on the African continent, particularly in the West African sub-region? Not too long ago, some weeks ago, we were having a conversation about Guinea-Bissau and whether or not leadership there should check themselves. And then we woke up yesterday to the news as well that there was an attempted military takeover in Benin. At some point in time, the interior minister for the country, in a broadcast of their own, because what you know is the military, when they decide that they are taking over, they go to a national broadcaster, then they announce that, look, we've suspended the constitution, we've taken over the country, the president is safe, this and that, yada, 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 and all of that. And so that happened, and the conversation started. What is happening in the West African sub-region? Why another military takeover? But not long after, a report of gunfires around the presidential home and what have you, then the interior minister for Benin comes up and says that, look, we've coiled the insurrection and the coup was not successful. Then the military leader who spearheaded this coup comes up and says, no, there's nothing of that sort. The coup is still happening and we're seeking to restore calm and order in the country. Subsequently, in the late hours of the day, there's a report of airstrikes in part of Benin led by the Nigerian army. Following what was a tweet by Emmanuel Macron mentioning that he had had a conversation with Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu about possible help in restoring calm in that part of the country. Mr. Tinubu has been speaking in the aftermath of that because the Benin president has spoken now, says that the insurrection has been dealt with, and we've seen a tweet as well from the Nigerian president, amongst many other things, mentioning that they did the airstrikes and the military intervention by Nigeria was part of ECOWAS protocol in helping to restore calm. And so that's the latest in all of the development from Benin for you this morning, and we will be seeking to get an understanding of what the situation is. The ECOWAS protocol in allowing military enter into another independent state and what have you. Professor Vladimir Inchidanso, or doctor, has had choice words over that approach. We also know that the president, John Dramani Mahama, has arrived in Abidjan to attend the inauguration of Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara, scheduled for today as well. And there's been a lot of peace talks as well in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and it's looking the more and more like, according to Russia, the peace plans aligns with everything that they have, and so we could be seeing peace return into that part of the world pretty shortly. But that's our way of surveying the international arena for you. Let's get into the local matters quickly, and I'll start off with the Daily Analyst for you this morning. They lead with Northern Region Police foil kidnap operation, recover 70,000 cedis ransom. There's a picture of the kidnappers and the cash sums. I see 50 cedis notes and I see 100 cedis notes as well there. And so that's the detail there for you. If you're following us on Facebook as well as on YouTube, that's a picture of the kidnappers as well as the sums of money. Pambros lands, court restrains Chinese national. I think this story has been running for quite a while, as and when it makes its way onto the front pages. Anniversary of 2024 election victory. President Mahama reaffirms commitment to reset agenda. And I was talking to you about a year on since the December elections. Ina Mariam Party called to the Bar of England and Wales. Radia Adamasani wins Outstanding Woman in Travel and Tourism Leadership. And historic visit to The Hague. Gimpa Law School Dean strengthens ties with international justice bodies. Those are the front page stories. Also, on the back page of the Daily Analyst, NIMOS launches intensive anti-galamsey operations in eastern and western regions. Ghana housing deficits. Doma West MP pushes for creative solutions, and government district assemblies fund Embassy of the Diaspora pay glowing tributes to Queen Mother Viola Ford Fletcher. Grab a copy for yourself and do the reading. The Insight newspaper, they lead with Mahama. He calls for internal funding for Ghana's education to reduce reliance on donor support. Also, strengthen the OSP law, don't repeal it. Gogo. Palestine will regain its freedom, says Ambassador Al-Satri as he bids Ghana farewell. Get Fund accelerates practical science education with strategic funding for STEM Box initiative. A season of joy as Ghana Post launches doorstep delivery drive at Maiden Carol celebration. We don't recognize any Ofilikwe family, but need Tete Nikwe as head of Dr. Ibn Chambers decries Africa's growing timidity after centuries of colonial exploitation and injustices. That's the Insight newspaper for you. The Republic Press, OSP future hangs in limbo as politics legal argument clash over relevance. Brian makes big impression in Western region. That flag bearer election scheduled for the 31st of January. Also on the front pages here. Gospel veteran Mame Tiwa confirmed dead. 82-year-old Kwame Eduse wins 2025 National Best Farmer. Gimpa Law School Dean strengthens ties with international justice bodies in historic visit to The Hague. Police fall kidnap racket in Wapuli. Victim rescued. 3 arrested. Let me see if there's something on the back page. No, there's no detail on the back page. And so we move on to the daily gist for you as well. Power tussle at OSP. Amidu reveals all. Georgia Penny, SHS headmaster suspended over sexual misconduct. Mahama, finance minister, faced RTI commission over ex gratia. Former Buffer Stock CEO fights Iyoko over seized assets. Auditor General rejects myth boss rogue attempt to rewrite 2024 audit report. Mahama reflects on 2024 electoral victory. NDC bigwigs sweep 2025 Farmers' Day top awards. It's an interesting revelation from the Daily Gist newspaper. Tears flow for late Akwetia MP NS Kumi. Story is on page 9. The publisher newspaper. You can't rewrite audited report. Auditor General cautions myth. Youth beat up police, seize weapons. Which part of the country is this? Court stops Tangway from entering Pambro salt land. I mentioned that Pambro story was making a return every now and then. Stop order that froze my 2013 properties. Hanan runs to court. That's the Buffer Stock CEO. Yao Sapon's Mami Tiwa dead. Kamal Habib Hassan holds exhibition. That's a bit vague in terms of leaving the headline like that. But those are the front page stories of the publisher newspaper as well. The News Center is the next paper I have. Road crashes kill 2,429. It represents 19.2% increase in 10 months of 2025 over 2024. And over the weekend, there were quite a number of crashes as well, which came through from different parts of the country. Dismissed petition. Danso's lawyers tells Lands Commission Benjamin Kwame Danso aid to the Nungwa stool. National Best Farmer demands irrigation expansion. Youth farming gets a digital boost with MTN's 3 million cities vegetation or vegetable hub, I suspect. Police arrest 3 suspected kidnappers, rescue victims. Auditor General rejects MIF's audit rewrite request. And the final newspaper I have here, the Custodian newspaper. They have NDC blows over 2.4 billion cedis on luxury jets. That's part 1 of the story. Police for Wapuli kidnap operation recover 70,000 ransom. Young Gospel Act set for bigger exposure. Government operates WhatsApp group with OSP, SC judges, CEO, CSOs, journalists. I knew this was going to find its way to the front page. Minority slams government over broken promises to farmers and fishers. And Auditor General slams MIF over attempt to rewrite 2024 audited report. On the back page, Access Bank rewards for Kitwa Beji Kesia promo winners, and RFHL releases fair sustainability report. And those are the front pages of the papers as we have it. We can get you into the details, but let me do the online portals quickly as well as we get into a bit more of the newspapers for you this morning as well. And 3news.com, the Jojepenyi SHS story is here. And GS orders Jojepenyi SHS headmaster to temporarily step aside over allegations of sexual misconduct. Kufuor criticizes Akufo-Addo's key policies, says DDEP, Cathedral and PDS contributed to NPP's 2024 election defeat. Benin thwarts attempted coup as government confirms President Talon is safe. LEAP program, we've made timely disbursement from January to October, that's according to the gender minister. In the Upper West region, 9 suspects arrested, 4 police weapons recovered after mob attack on police in Jirapa, and fresh trouble for Daddy Lumba as principal family members pray court not to allow the release of his body. MyJoyOnline.com quickly reset the system, not tariffs. Food and Beverages Association of Ghana demands full audits before any increases. Kufuor blames key Akufo-Addo policies for NPP's 2024 defeat. I never backed Alan Tremantin against Akufo-Addo. Kufuor clears air. Of Ankon Sawam Roads Ministry announces new diversion for asphalt works. NPP's 2024 loss, a wake-up call on governance and accountability. That's according to former President Kufuor. ECOWAS must strategize, not rush troops to Benin. Professor Intredan, so this is on citynewsroom.com. A bit more from there. Rising breast cancer cases strain Kolebu. Surgeon demands more centers. ECOWAS deploys standby forces to Benin, and Road Ministry closes of Ankor and Sawam Road for major asphalt works. Good morning, Helen. Trust that you're better now and the weekend was kind.
We're on the mend. We're getting there slowly. I don't know whether it's
there's no fire in you this morning.
What is going on? Is it Qatar? Is it cold?
I think it's a bug.
It's a bug, huh?
It's a bug. A number of people caught it. I caught it myself.
Oh, it is bugging me.
You've not been able to shake it off.
I have not been able to shake it off. In fact, yesterday was... excuse me, goodness. Yesterday was not fun, but we're back. It's another glorious Monday. I'm looking forward to today. As always, we've tabled some of the pertinent issues of the day. Yesterday, I spent the whole day mostly in bed, and I was recapping election 2024. That was the order of the day. And I had a good laugh. Last year around this time, things were certainly very interesting. I would have just finished an overnight shift.
Yeah. You were the late night.
The late night team, aka Team No Sleep, myself, Johnny, and Mrs. Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. So some good memories there of how we were able to pull it together as a team. Solid team. If you didn't have your dial locked to the election command center,
you really weren't.
You were not serious about watching the elections. But that's what we're doing today. We're doing some reflection 1 year on. What are some of the key takeaways? And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll be able to play back some of the most interesting sound bites that came out of last year. Hey, predictions upon predictions. Don't mind them. Ignore the votes. Don't ignore the votes. Though last year around this time it was very interesting. But I'm not doing too bad. It's the start of a brand new week, and man, you've already gone through the front pages, and there are some interesting stories that we can certainly get into. Over the weekend as well, the saga of Martin Pebu versus the Office of the Special Prosecutor was also unraveling with some more key details that I believe you and I have been furnished with. I think things are certainly heating up. Now the conversation has spilled into Parliament. It's gone from the streets, it's gone to Parliament. Everybody's talking about whether or not Kessie Jabing should stay, whether or not the entirety of the OSP should stay or should remain. Issues about constitutionality have come up, issues about funding, whether or not, we give the OSP too much of high expectations on what they should be doing. It's one that is ever evolving. Also piqued my interest over the weekend.
And talk about a year on from today, or a year ago, I should say.
Yeah.
A year on will be next year. These are some of the interesting sound bites from election night. There were 2 press conferences held. Just brief excerpts from both sides.
Second 4 is that we protect the sanctity and sanity of our electoral processes and our democracy. I don't think we're asking for too much. We're basically asking for what every single Ghanaian is clamoring for. But as usual, we have our friends from the NDC, their usual playbook. 4 years is here again, and we are going through what we always go through every cycle. Our electoral process is one of the most transparent electoral processes you can have in the world. And we don't have to do too much to ensure that we get what it is that we are looking for. And to see the NDC jittery, extremely jittery. I mean, just a few minutes ago, we all watched
Sunrise
a very unnecessary, very unnecessary, disgraceful press conference from the NDC. And you can see the demeanor, the high level of uncertainty, from them. They are completely unsettled. And it's simply because, like I always said, 1, they were overly complacent. 2, they took the good people of this country for granted, and they assumed that once it is 8 years, they are coming to power. Reality is settling in, and instead of doing a self-check and a reality check and improve upon themselves, they want to inflict upon the entire country the damage that they themselves have brought upon themselves, and they want us to.
That is the paucity of the logic the MPP is edging on us. And it is very sad that the Electoral Commission seem to be re-echoing this contrived and baseless narrative of the New Patriotic Party. Everything about our electoral process is supposed to be public. Secrecy and opacity is what breeds rigging in every election. And so if they have nothing to hide, the MPP and the Electoral Commission have nothing to hide, then they should be happy. They should even join us in inviting members of the public to come and observe the coalition process. We are not asking our supporters to enter the coalition rooms. No, we have accredited agents who are the only ones permitted to enter those coalition rooms. We have accredited observers who can also enter and observe the process. But other members of the public are allowed to be at the center, at the right designated places. Not inside the inner perimeter or that enclosed area where the exercise is happening, but nothing stops them. There is no law in Ghana that bans citizens of Ghana from going to a collation center where results from polling stations are being collated. We have always done this since 1992. Coalition has always been a public exercise. And the Jimensa Bosmanasare Samuel Tete-led EC cannot change it.
It was
neither
between Ghana.
That gives an indication, a very clear indication,
change this.
as to we need to make that how the people of this country voted yesterday.
On 3FM.
And I'm happy to inform you,
morning.
and by extension, the good people of Ghana, that from the results we have seen so far from our internal coalition, provisional results, it is very clear that Ghanaians have rejected 8 years of corruption, 8 years of state capture, 8 years of wastage, 8 years of nepotism and cronyism, 8 years of economic mismanagement, 8 years of insensitivity and arrogance of power, 8 years of crass incompetence and ineptitude. And it is very clear that the people of this country have voted overwhelmingly for change. They have given the National Democratic Congress an emphatic, resounding, and a landslide victory. And in fact,
on 3FM.
the provisional figures we are seeing from our internal coalition show that this landslide, this overwhelming, resounding victory given the NDC in both the presidential and parliamentary election is unprecedented.
A trip down memory lane for listeners and persons who are following us as well as on Facebook and YouTube. Good morning to you sixes as well. A year ago, where were you around this time? I think we were readying ourselves. News was coming in that there was expected to be a press conference by Dr. Bawumia.
You would have closed an hour ago.
Yeah, so I was headed towards the Electoral Commission again.
Okay.
Because I was stationed in the Electoral Commission.
Our shift ended at 8.
No.
No, 6 a.m. actually.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m.
So around this time, some sweet breakfast would have been arranged. Some nice one would have been arranged.
Yeah.
Oh, Election Command Center.
You
These are
miss
the
it, eh?
sweet memories. I won't say who
So
did
right
the
now, who are you
catering.
talking to?
Oh, whoever set up that sweet breakfast would have been set up feeling fulfilled because the hill that I was standing on is not easy. I'd have been standing on one hill for a couple of hours. Ears are ringing, but the excitement is in the air. You get rewarded with some sweet breakfast, go home, you turn on the TV so that you are also still in the mist, kakra. But by 9-10, your eyes are just closing, but you can't afford to sleep because the filler was just hot, rolling in. I'm trying to recall exactly when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia conceded.
It was in the
because
morning.
of the 8th.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I said we're readying ourselves because there was a word out that the expectation of a news conference.
That's why some of his people are not happy with him.
A year on, they are still unhappy with him.
They are not happy with him.
In fact, a year on, they said too early.
Yeah.
A year on, it's still one of the biggest gripes they have about election 2024.
Me personally, I respect him for that. The figures were there. And the fact of the matter is that each of the political parties set up their own coalition centers, even my CPP.
What?
It's okay.
Electric Shock actually had a what do you call
Can we continue?
Strong. What do you call that? Strong.
So by midnight, no, actually by dawn of the 8th, you knew where you stood. And to be fair, a lot of the results would have come in at that time.
Because it was polling stations.
It's a polling station. So if you add up the polling stations, you know where you are headed. So if
those who make the argument that he conceded too early make the argument because they say he should have allowed for all, even though you know where you are going, you let everything come.
No.
There had been pockets of...
There was too much tension in the country.
Yeah.
There was too much tension.
I mean, one of the criticisms
what he did
is that
really helped with
cooling
the temperature, easing emotions, and allowing people to breathe. And, well, I think of all the groups, we journalists would have been the most angered because, I mean, the energy was there. They were now getting into the groove, you know.
Are you getting me?
We're
But
up for it.
we found a good way around it, and we were able to sustain the conversation. And so it was good in the end. For Dr. Baumi, I think what has become the criticism from some quarters is that, look, that early concession meant that they lost seats they weren't supposed to lose as well in addition.
How does that work?
No, that's the argument that's been made, that when he conceded, it deflated some people. I'm not the one making the argument. I'm just reiterating.
Okay.
Right? And that certain seats that's why we had the problems we had with collating some constituency seats. That once Dr. Baumia considered, the NDC said, if you've lost means you lost the parliamentary too. And so we won it, and so declare it for us.
So, for example, areas where they were still getting their figures together.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the concession was only in respect to the presidential.
But that's the criticism he suffered. But in general, I think it was a good thing he did.
I think he should be celebrated for that. I think he should be celebrated, even though there was an attempt to make it look like it's some historic thing he did, like some unprecedented thing. I mean, he did we should celebrate him as a statesman because of that decision to do that early concession. It helped a lot. It helped the country. But let's not make it look like being cedar.
Say being cedar.
People have conceded.
People have so conceded. Early like that. Being cedar.
No, perhaps that early is what we can all argue about. But they've been calling to concede. We've seen that. I mean, I've monitored. If for nothing, I've seen 2008 up until now, where I was conscious of what was happening. I mean, we've seen quite a lot.
Oh, well.
I still remember the pictures in my head so clearly. I mean, I saw how they filed out Miracles. Abuajo was organizing people around a podium and looking mobo. From their faces, you could tell that.
There's one thing I always say.
Even internally, there was serious disagreement.
There's one thing I always say. Body language. Body language.
Of course.
You can go back to the last 3 major elections. Body language would tell you how the polls had gone. Remember Kokwanyidoho?
We are in a comfortable lead. No, that one was a confident body language.
No, it wasn't. Go and watch it again.
So the words and the body language didn't match. That's why experts tell you that 70% of communication is done non-verbal.
Followed by DJ Bomenyom.
It never matches.
It didn't match.
Vandal Bola.
The face, but even as recently as Dennis Miracle's the press conference, he had Richard Ahiagba on one side, Fatima on the other side, and you could read the body language.
Always watch it. Go back to 2020, and compare when the former sports minister, his name is just escaping me, ecumenical Elvis Afriankra, when he addressed the nation,
ecumenical.
When he addressed the nation, right, and said the NDC had won Parliament. Look at his body language.
Okay.
He didn't say they had won the presidential, because I was there that day when he was doing that press conference. The confidence with which he spoke and said they had won Parliament is why we had the hung Parliament.
But you see, sometimes
because there were some seats which we all know there was a lot of trouble with in the dying embers. Now go back and watch John Buedu when they responded to the NDC's press conference and look at his body language. You'll understand what I'm saying, that they knew there was trouble with Parliament. They knew there was trouble with Parliament. You can go back and watch the video. That's why I said body language.
It will tell you everything you need to know.
Body language. When they do the press conferences, just look at the body language.
Forget
what they are saying.
The man said we are in a comfortable lead. Choboy, DJ Bomilom.
I can have Kunzo pull up Kokwanido, whose body language and the people around him when he was saying that.
We should pull it up. I think for those who also critique Dr. Bawumia, maybe the tension was high, but maybe they wanted to see as for the last. Give me for the last.
No.
There was no for the last.
Just give me for the last.
There's the way you vote.
You see,
and
the
they count at the police
Like, give me for the last.
The reason they do this from both sides is to maintain the vim at the grassroots level. If at the top you give up so easily, then you are the signal to the grassroots is not good. So you give them a certain amount of hope. That's why the Elvis's scenario you cited, he didn't say they had won the presidential.
Yes.
He said parliament.
Because they knew.
Because he wanted to give confidence to the people. Even if we lose this, there is still hope for us in this one.
In this
so
one.
it's always a strategic communication. It is not for nothing they do that. You see, but the Bawumia situation, if you look at all indications, Alhaji was losing. Alhaji was going to lose. And Alhaji needed to make some pronouncement of some sort. You see, yes, they could have dragged it out.
You know, let's say until the bones are rotten. Until the last constituency or the last polling station is counted.
For that, Helen, there was simply too much tension. I mean, you couldn't have. It's like
the policing at the polling station. You remember what was happening at the polling station?
Until the last.
So if you tell me
coalition
that you're angry with Alhaji because at that time there was still hope for parliamentary, you would have known about the parliamentary as well.
The parliamentary body, it was even the indications were.
But Touchman South, is it Touchman South? Yeah. Martin Ajay Kose's place, that constituency, we need to watch it. I mean, how is it that since its creation, it's always been fight during the election. I think this is the second term of its creation. No,
I think it will be the third
term of its creation, and it's not been any smooth. So even for the winner, it's always between Christopher Bayele, right, and then Martin Ajay Kosa. The first one was when we had that bloodbath. The one Muntaka spoke about. Until now, we don't know whether the investigations have even started. And there was a whole back and forth. They came to court and all of that. That constituency must be watched. It is not good. And it's probably one of the constituencies that people
a lot of hotspots
to say relax for us.
A lot of hotspots also emerged from the 2024 elections because there was quite the heat in different parts of the country and all of that. Ablekuma North became a center of attraction, or Kaikwe Central.
Tema Central. Charlie, we did a victory interview of the supposed winner at the time.
You know.
Ibi Bright.
Bright.
Yes, Ibi came here with people
white
powdered up and you know, only for us less than a week.
Recollection.
There were some people who did victory lap and had to U-turn. Baba Sadiq, unfortunately, also had a victory tour. Alas, couldn't take the day. Last U-turn. Interesting.
Can we add this to the sins of Jane Mensah?
No.
Is it fair to add this to the sins of Jane Mensah?
I think it's all a learning process, really. As a country with a democracy that's 30-something years, yes, we don't expect to take 200 years to reach the heights of other countries, but we will take some of these in our stride and say that now we know, and so next time we will plan better and be better prepared for instances and situations like these, to ensure that things don't go the way it does and what have you. But the president has been reflecting on a year on since he emerged victorious in that election. That story is on the page 4 of the Daily Gist newspaper, says that 1 year after the National Democratic Congress decisive 7 general elections, President Mahama has reflected on the historic moment that returned him to power, describing it as a resounding mandate from a nation determined to reset its course. In a message marking the anniversary, President Mahama expressed gratitude to Ghanaians for what he called their unwavering faith in restoring hope and rebuilding national institutions after years of political tension, economic strain, and deepening distrust in governance system. Over 18 million citizens registered to vote across more than 40,000 polling stations amid concerns about the credibility of the electoral process and rising political polarization. The NDC mounted a vigorous campaign grounded in what Mahama termed the Resetting Ghana agenda, a commitment to restore economic stability, expand opportunities, and rebuild public trust. He secured 6.3 million plus votes, representing 56.55%, defeating the NPP's Dr. Baumia, who was then vice president, who garnered 4.6. Representing 41.61. Although results from 9 constituencies were outstanding at the time of the announcement, the commission noted that the outstanding vote could not alter the final outcome. And according to him, the party's strategy to closely monitor the polls neutralized many efforts. Looking ahead, President Mahama reaffirmed his commitment to govern inclusively. He emphasized that the new administration, alongside Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is committed to building a Ghana for all without discrimination or favoritism. However, the president has presided over the mass dismissal of workers employed by the previous administration in the public service. And so the president as well has been reflecting on the elections and had a message to share. And I mean, it's the memories has been great. It's been great. A year on, it's been great. But in other matters, I'm sure there are other developing matters.
Before we move to other matters, I think it's important to say and to remind all appointees that the good memories, and I see that some of them have posted a lot on social media.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are sharing clips, others are, reposting comments and statements and presses and all of those things. As they do that, they should be reminded that there's a lot of responsibility on them. The anger that we saw from some of the voters, the reason for which the NPP lost by such an embarrassing margin, I beg your pardon, should be a caution and a guiding principle based on which they relate to and with the electorate and discharge their duties in the respective offices that they find themselves. That Helen will say the Ghanaian voter, his eye is now wide open.
That's right.
You cannot take us for granted anymore. And that it is not, sadly for us, social media is such that you don't wait for the traditional media to break the news. A lot of the times the news is broken on social media.
That's right.
And social media really doesn't even care about checks and balances. Somebody with 2 Ghana data, dare I say 2 Ghana data, the bundles that they do.
Yeah.
Some 8 megabyte data is the one who will bring you down with just one post on social media. So appointees must be guided. They must realize they are in the offices for some reason, and the disrespect, the disregard, the insults, the arrogance, the reckless display of opulence. Somebody said, some of you, we know you. We knew you were struggling to pay your rent.
That's right.
Now you are building mansions and riding the 2025 edition of luxury vehicles. Where is the money coming from? I think we should respect ourselves. Appointees should know that their responsibility, their duty is to the people of this country. And their conduct must not disappoint their appointor. And they must ensure that the good faith that Ghanaians placed in the NDC is not diminished in the next, should I say, 6 months. I think the honeymoon is over.
Yeah,
well,
honeymoon is over.
Well and truly.
From January, you see that people will become a
already
bit more...
the concerns are coming up.
Yeah,
the utility tariff that's gone up. Why are we paying 27% and we're giving 9% salary increment and all of that? So all of those are going to come up very strongly.
I like what Sixtu said. Last year was an indication that the Ghanaian electorate doesn't want to be taken for granted at all. It's very painful to be taken for granted, to be disregarded, for your opinion to not matter. And so I definitely join Sixtu's call for all appointees to reflect. Whilst you are posting your throwback, your victory throwbacks, look into the future that you too could be on that side of the coin, facing the full wrath of the Ghanaian. Last year, Ghanaians let it be known exactly how they felt about how things were being managed as far as the economy was concerned, their well-being, and the verdict, let me tell you, no stone left unturned. There was no other way for you to interpret those results apart from the fact that the Ghanaian is awake.
Yes.
And the NDC government should definitely take note. But those of us who have no horse in the race, if it's your turn, it's your turn.
Because Ike Adankwa is no more.
She's no more. I don't have a new car. I don't have a laptop.
Join us in the CPP.
Electric shock.
Join us in the CPP.
EELL.
We are comatose, but we are still alive.
Oh, you know how I feel about your party. Come and give the young people some hope. The young people want to know. They want to know about the history. They want to know about the future of the party. You just left us in limbo. Are you going to provide a third force?
We hounded our General Secretary out of office, and the inclusivity or inclusiveness of the Mahama administration has benefited the CPP as well, because you see she's been appointed as a presidential staffer, right?
Please, so she says she still wants to be, when she is introduced on platforms, as the former general secretary of the CPP.
Yes. That is exactly what I'm saying.
She has not abandoned her
she hasn't.
No.
She hasn't. She's still with us. She's still with us in the CPP. So last, those of you who also, the appointees who harass us on the roads with the sirens, we beg you. We are in this together. And some of them, they'll do the when. In fact, the annoying one was it Thursday? When was this?
What happened?
When. Only for us to see him buying coffee Brookman by the road.
Oh, you are joking.
Oh, I'm not.
You are joking.
No, I'm not. The DVLA road. That was where it happened. When overtook us, we all actually respectfully gave way. Then if you just around where the post office is, there's some coffee Brookman there. Some woman sells. Oh, I'm not kidding you. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. He has parked there, was buying coffee Brookman comfortably.
Ridiculous.
So please check your drivers. You may argue it is not you. Check your drivers. We are in this together. This is a socialist administration, right?
Allegedly.
Welcome back.
I was just going through some of the posts from Facebook.
From the party people.
Some of the dancing that has been recorded. Oh,
it's interesting. It's interesting. I see someone was saying they had snatched 15 seats from the NDC. People are asking him now how far, where are the seats and all of that. It's been, but
I've seen Dennis Miracle tagged maybe more than 10,000 times yesterday. Please allow him to sleep.
If I were him, I would probably be off.
He should be off.
As we talk the December elections and its aftermath a year on, it doesn't look like all is well within the West African sub-region. That attempted coup in Benin from yesterday and what was a military intervention by Nigeria, actually. There were airstrikes by the Nigerian army in parts of Benin yesterday in helping to restore President Talon back into office, and we saw him speak again. What are we not doing right? Because in Ghana, we seem to be at least on the trajectory of power shifting hands and what have you. Today, the president is in Ivory Coast. Alassane Ouattara is being inaugurated again as president. We've had the Togo situation where there were concerns. There was attempt in Guinea-Bissau, and we've seen Benin as well. And we have the Sahel countries as well. It looks like Ghana, Nigeria are pretty much the only bright spots, and then Anturisa, maybe Nigeria, Liberia as well. Really bright spot in terms of power effectively being able to change hands like you'd want. For the francophone countries, it's very, very difficult.
I mean, I always say, don't ever take it for granted the kind of peace or at least stability that you're enjoying in Ghana. I've recounted this story maybe 10 million times on air. I landed in the Gambia 2015, January, maybe 3 days after a coup attempt against then President Yahya Jammeh.
Yeah.
And you were in the Gambia?
I was in the Gambia, and that's when I saw that, hey, la la.
It's no joke.
Whoa, la la, la la la. Even speaking in the car, my friend's mother picked us from the airport. She rolled the window. She said, don't talk until we've reached the house. Military men everywhere. Everywhere. Every few meters, you were getting stopped. AK-47 here, there, everywhere. When I tell you the atmosphere was tense, you don't want to feel that. You don't want to be in the midst of that type of upheaval at all. And it's always very scary to know that we're in the part of the world where at any point in time you might say, oh, let me go and visit Benin. As I know, some people have been caught up in the midst of that. Next thing you know, there is an attempted coup. You're afraid for your life. I don't know what it's going to take for us to have that stability that we need in this region, in the Sahel. I don't know whether it's a strengthening of
there's a lot that
as a
needs
unit,
to be done.
as a unit, how do we support each other in this West African region, in the Sahel? What is lacking?
This question you have just asked, it's poking a long-standing conversation that some of us have always been part of, and I think it's now even culminated in the campaign. I see my brother Hadi Yakubu has been on this borderless Africa campaign. It's a conversation we have always had, and we've always wondered why so many years after Kwame Nkrumah was ousted and he eventually died a miserable death, we are still unable as Africa to have a unified front, that for a common currency we are unable to institute. We are unable to have
how long we've been hearing about ECO for West Africa.
Exactly. Even for the West Africa level, we are unable to pilot. I think they attempted a pilot. I don't know what happened.
It hasn't even materialized. The pilot has not.
I think they attempted a pilot. So it's not. It's a long-standing conversation, but I think that the suspicions that were met with Nkrumah's propositions at the time, same suspicions are still lingering on, and people believe or suspect that if we allow this kind of unification, you would have President Mahama, for instance, being president of Africa, when Tinubu wants to be president of Africa. What is wrong with that? It's a political system.
Power sweeters too
much. Power, in fact, it's been the biggest problem of Africa. That is why CPP has broken as it is. You see that people are still fighting over who should be general secretary, who should be chairman, when in fact that is not what should interest you. We are so fixated on titles, power, influence,
and less
control,
about the development.
About the development, about the work. So if we had committed leaders, we should have a unified military front by now, which would deal with all of these things. We should have a unified, a common currency by now. I shouldn't be trading with a Nigerian in Nigeria and be thinking about converting my money to a Naira. Or a Nigerian is traveling to Ghana and is worried about converting his weak Naira into strong Ghana cedi, and worried about how much he would lose.
Look at all the noise we made about our Africa Free Continental Trade Area. Everybody wants to sell, nobody wants to buy.
Nobody wants to buy, which is where we are. And even those of us who are selling, who want to sell, we want to sell to China, we don't want to sell to Kenya, we don't want to buy from Kenya, we don't want to sell to Burkina or buy from Burkina. You have, and that is the reason, you see, when Burkina and the other people, they said they won't be part of ECOWAS again. They were forming their own, the Sahel people.
Yeah.
Some of us didn't have a problem with it because we have spoken for too long and too much. It's all talk.
Right. We'll get into this again, I'm sure, when we get into the big conversations. But thank you guys for helping us through the review. Let me talk to you.
Let me give you a few comments. It's something we used to do, but we have stopped. And our people, Facebook people, please check the YouTube as well.
Sure.
So Facebook, we have a Turkey Skyman, Ebenda. It says last year by this time, Helen's face was looking like someone breaking her fast after 100 days dry fast. I didn't see it, but I wouldn't have read it. No, but it's true.
Mention the person's full name.
I have to talk to us
Turkey Skyman, Ebenda.
Skyman, you come and meet me.
Treasure Ellie. Yeah. Guys, Treasure Ellie, we will block you and remove you from our post. Nana Boachi says, be reminded, as of 5:58 p.m. at my polling station, the MPP polling agent was thrown out of joined during. Nana Boachi, please type again. We are tuned in big inside Kaswa. That's Ohima, Maxist, Bra Kweku, Sparta. What happened to Johnny's bite? Johnny is on leave. Johnny is on leave. He will join us again, and your favorite bite will be back on. Neron says Nigeria was able to strike in Benin on the orders of France, but can't do same to the terrorist issue in their own country. Well, that's another issue that Neron is raising. Good morning, Council. Good listening to your team as always. Baumia must be commended for conceding. That was true statesmanship. However, it was a case of Sutra or
something like that.
A slap that's close to you, go for it sharply.
Don't waste time.
Don't wait.
Collect it.
The slap is closed. Just go inside.
Don't waste anybody's time and collect it.
And for those of you on YouTube as well, thank you very much. I see you, 64 Kafui and Del Code Bite. You're also asking for the bite, and as 62 says, it will be coming your way. Johnny as well, for those of you who are also asking.
Let me talk to you about Rosebank International University, because